this is pretty much where we left off last week, and our goal for this week is this. So you can see the designer here, they really, focused in on this angled wall here and got all of these angles are in this design. So we're going to be laying out these partitions today, and I'm just going to put this on my other screen and um, and start prepping to do that. Okay, so first things first. I am on the 24 by 18 title block here, and I I don't need these other title blocks, so I'm gonna just take them, and you can, if you want to select, I'm gonna delete them, and if you want to delete more than one, if you hold your control key, you can. Oh, let me try that again. I guess maybe I'll just do them one at a time. All right. So I'm just going to grab that one and I'm going to delete it. Let me just make sure. Yeah. So I'm going to delete these. Just be careful not to delete the one that we're using, which was the 24 by 18. I'm going to delete also the 36 by 24. So right now I have one title block paper space sheet tab here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to rename it. So I'm just right clicking on the tab and going to rename, and I'm going to call this building shell. So this will be our first sheet, and then our next sheet is going to be the partition plan. So when the contractor is looking at this, the first thing that they want to see is the building shell. What's there right now? And this is what's there right now. And now I'm going to do the second sheet, and we're going to add our partitions. So I'm going to make a copy of the building shell here. And to do that, it's very easy. Just right click on the tab, click move or copy. And then you need to move to the end and create a copy. So you just want to make sure that create a copy is checked and move to end is selected, and then hit OK. And an exact copy of our building shell has been made. And while I'm here, I'm going to rename this to our partition plan. And while I'm here, I may as well update the title block. I'm still reeling about that medical video. I have no idea. Uh, so partition plan. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So now, so let me switch over to model space here. And if I go on to my walls layer, and I just draw a wall. You don't have to do this, but I'm just going to draw a little wall right here. So there is, I just drew a wall. And if I go to my partition plan, I'm seeing the building shell and I'm seeing my new partition, right? Right? Like I should. But if I go over to my building shell plan, I'm also seeing that partition. And that's because my building shell, all of the walls were built on the A wall layer, and all and my interior partition here, this is the new wall, is on that same wall, on that same layer. So I am seeing both. And this is not what we want to do. So let me shift back to model space here. And let's go into our layer properties. I'm just typing LA, which is the shortcut for the layer properties, or you can just click up here to get to layer properties. And I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to call it A dash wall, because these are going to be walls, dash new. So all of my new partitions or my new walls are going to go on a wall new. So I need to give it a color, and I don't want to, my walls are on, I don't want to make it the same color as my walls, which is 113. So I'm just going to choose something else here. I'm choosing something kind of in the greenish family here. I'm doing 73. But if you're not loving color 73, you can color the layer whatever makes you happy. But what is important is that our line type is continuous and that the line weight matches the walls layer. So let me come down to my A wall layer down here, and the line weight is 0.50 millimeters. That's a very thick wall line, but I'm gonna go with it. So going to A wall new, and I'm gonna change that to 0.5 so that the thickness of my new walls is the same as the thickness of my existing walls, my building shell walls. Okay, so while I'm here, I'm just going to set my AWOL new layer to current, double click on it, and there's a little check there, so that's my current layer. Close this. And you can see right here, AWOL new is my current layer. Now, if I take this little partition that I drew and I put it on my AWOL new layer, I go over to my partition plan. There's the partition. And if I go to my building shell plan, I'm seeing that partition as well. So what I need to do is I need to freeze this layer in this viewport. And it's super easy to do. All I need to do is double click in my viewport and then click on that little freeze button right here and select that partition layer. And it's giving me a little warning. It's saying AWOL new is current, is my current layer. Are you sure you want to viewport freeze it? And yes, I do. So now, just hitting escape to get out of the command. So now on my building shell, I do not see my new partitions. So as I'm drawing my new partitions on the AWOL new layer, they're not going to appear here on my building shell, but they will appear on my partition plane. And there's the little partition right there. Now, what I don't want to see on my partition plan are these dimensions. We're going to have our own set of dimensions that pertain directly to the partitions and not to the building shell. So I will just go into white model space and I'm on my partition plan here. I'll just double click in white model space, and I'm going to freeze those dimensions. So let me go back into paper space. So now on my partition plan, I see the new partition here, and I don't see any of the building shell dimensions. And on my building shell plan, I see the building shell dimensions, but I don't see the new partition. Exactly what I want. All right, I think I'm set up. And if you're not set up right now, once we start drawing some walls and doors and dimensions, we'll come back to this and double check our layer management to make sure everything is perfectly working fine. Okay, so let me erase this and let's go back to this here. All right, so I've got a bunch of partitions here. I don't have a whole heck of a lot of dimensions here, but I've got a few here and there sprinkled around, but we should be able to construct this entire plan with just the few dimensions that we've got. And the way we can do it is we can use the existing plan here to be a starting point for our new partitions. For instance, this partition. So this is the CEO's office or the president's office, and their office here. This partition here is starting right at the corner of this window. You can see it's starting right here. So that's our clue to start this partition. Um, and similarly, over here, this partition here of the CEO's office is starting right at the corner of this pier here, this pilaster. So that partition here is going to be set by this corner right here. And when in real life, when you are building a space, or when you're designing a space and your contractor is building it out, that is just the way they do it. Sometimes you'll put a little note here that say align the edge of the partition with the corner of the pilaster, but a lot of times for the contractor, they know exactly what to do. For this partition here, I see that this partition is 16 feet 1 inch long, and it is starting right at this pilaster. And this partition is centered on this pilaster. And similarly, this partition and this partition and this partition, they also are centered right on that pilaster. Okay, so let's start over here. I think I'll start at this corner and get let me I'll just start at this corner and get this big long partition right here. And then I'll go here and then close off this guy. And then I'll kind of work my way around this way, I think. Unless I change my mind. All right. Let me just arrange this on my second screen here so I can see it as I'm working. Okay, so I'm on my A wall new layer, just double checking there. And carefully, I am going to set this first. Oh, wait, before I even do that, let's make sure that we have our angles set. So last week I created 4 custom object O tracking angles here: 27 degrees, 117, 200, 207, and 297. So I have mine. You could be on literally any one of these and it would be okay, but I happen to be on 297. So that's where I'm gonna be here. And we want to just kind of commit these to memory as you're working so that you are always on one of these angles. Now, 30 degrees is very close to 27, so you want to make sure that you aren't accidentally drawing at 30 degrees if that is, the appropriate coming close to the if you need to get to 27 degrees, make sure you're not at 30 degrees because they're close. All right, so let's start. So I'm going to just start with my line tool. I'm going to start right at the corner of this window here, and I'm coming down, and you can see, okay, so I have 2 angles here. There's one over, I can't draw and point at the same time, but there's a 153-degree angle, but that's not the one that I'm really paying attention to. What I'm paying attention to is the little box that's near my cursor. It's saying perpendicular and it's giving me a length here. And then there's a little less than sign and then it says 207 degrees. So that is the angle that I'm really concerned with, that 207, not the 153. So I'm just drawing it some length. I'm not exactly sure what it needs to do is it needs to align with this here. I guess maybe I should have started with that, but I started with this one, so that's fine. Our partitions are going to be 5 inches, so I'm just offsetting 5 inches. And then I'm going to draw this line. So again, I am looking for that 297 degree. angle, not the 63-degree angle, but the one near my cursor, where mine is saying polar 9 feet 8 and 3/8 of an inch, and then less than that's the angle symbol, and it says 297 degrees. So I'm going to just draw a big old line. Make sure that you're on that 297 degrees. All right, and I will offset this also 5 inches. Okay, so let's extend these partitions, this partition to here and this partition to here. I like to use the trim tool to extend. There is an extend tool here, but I like to use trim because I can do both trimming and extending with the same tool. So when I select trim and I hold shift, I switch to extend mode, and then I can extend. And I'm going to extend this little line there to the side of this pilaster or this pier. And then I'm going to just trim out. I like to trim out my interior partitions here so that it looks more professional that way. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to trim this little line here. And the reason is we don't want to trim, we want there to be a line between our building shell partitions and our new partitions. So our new partitions, I'm going to trim out so it's nice and clean on the inside. But when a new partition intersects a existing partition or existing wall or pilaster or column, I am not going to trim that there. Okay, good. So now we're gonna box around this column. Whoever the designer was doesn't want to see this column here. So I'm gonna just use some O tracking here. So I'm just gonna start here and O track up. And you know what? Actually, let me stop again here and talk about another very important setting. So I'm going to come down here to my polar tracking, that little flyout here. I'm going to go over to my tracking settings. And right now, mine is right over here. It says Object Snap Tracking Settings. And mine is set to track using all polar angle settings. Yours might be set to track orthogonally only. And that is going to make life really difficult for you when you are O tracking along these 207-degree and 27-degree angles. It's going to make life really, really difficult. So set your object snap tracking settings to this one, track using all polar angle settings. That will allow you to O track along any any angled wall that we've got. AutoCAD will cooperate with you. Okay, so let me just close that or hit OK. And I am going to just start right at the corner over here and go up. I'm going to O track up 3, 4. And then the wall is 5 feet long. And again, I'm making sure that I'm going at 117 degrees here. 5, 5 feet. And then I'll just turn back perpendicular to the wall here. There's my perpendicular. And then I'll just offset my partitions and fillet. And while I'm here, I'll just trim. Beautiful. Good. So we've got, I haven't put the door in, but here is our CEO's office right there. Okay, so this stuff over here is pretty basic, but let's go over to here. Now, let me go back to the handout. So I have a 16-foot 1 inch long partition here that's starting right here. So I need to, and I want this partition to be right at the midpoint of this pier here. So what I think I'm going to do in order to get it right at the center is I'm going to draw a guideline, a little guideline here that is, just coming down a little bit. And that way I can offset half of 5 inches up or to the right and half of 5 inches to the left. And that will give me a 5 inch partition when I erase the center line. And then from there, I can O-track down 16 foot one. So I'm just going to draw a little line here. Make sure that you are at that correct angle. I'm at 297 degrees, which is one of those four angles. So that's good. And then I didn't even measure. It's just a little guideline just to get that partition started. So now I will offset in both directions. And then I can trim out this little guy right here that's extending into the pilaster, and I will extend this to there. And I don't need that center line anymore. That was just for me to get the 5 inch partition correct. I used the center line to do the offsetting, half of 5 inches up to the right and half of 5 inches down. Okay, now let's O-track 16 feet one. So with my line tool, I'll just,
Sorry, Paul, what angle was that at?
this is at 297 degrees,
Okay, thanks.
16 feet one. And then I'm going to come up 27 degrees or go perpendicular. There's my perpendicular right there to that wall. And I'll offset 5 inches for my wall. And then I can just fillet these corners here. Easy peasy. And I have my wall. While I'm here, I'm just going to trim this just to make it look a little more professional. Okay, beautiful. So now I have, let me look at my handout here. So now I've got, I have a little wall here that's 6 feet. I have another wall that's here, and I have another wall that's here. So I have three walls that are all on that same angle here. So you can do the same thing. Start at the center line, draw a little line, offset up half of 5 inches, 2.5 inches to the right, 2.5 inches to the left, and go from there. But I'm too lazy to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy. I've already done it once, and once is enough for me. So I'm just going to copy this little partition here over to here and to here and to here. The links may be wrong, but that's fine. I can either trim or fill it or get them the way I want, So, all right, I need to pick a base point, and the base point can be wherever you want. You can do this corner or this corner. You could either even do the midpoint if you wanted. But I'm just gonna choose this corner randomly. You can do whatever corner you want. You just need to be consistent. So I'm choosing the lower left-hand corner on this pier, so I need to do the lower left-hand corner on all of the others. So boom, bada, boom. There. Beautiful. All right, so now let's get this office, and there's a little 6 foot. This wall here is only 6 feet long. So let's O-track down along here 6 feet, and then go perpendicular to that wall, and I'll offset 5 inches. Then you can do either trim or fillet. I'm using fillet. For me, that's a little easier. And look at that. Like with no time at all, we've got these wacky, bizarre partitions in place. Okay, so now let's look at this office over here, and then this is going to be a big conference room over here. So, oop, accidentally I'm bringing in the
Hey Paul,
yeah.
when you sorry, I missed it. When you offset the line for like the outside part of the wall, do you offset it in or out?
Well, that's a really good question. So for this, you can see that the 16:1 goes to the outside corner. So that means I drew this outside line, so I'm offsetting into the room. So pay attention to where the edge of the what this dimension is going to. So this corner is going to the outside corner here. So we drew this line, so we need to offset this up or into the room. So yeah, good question.
Thank you.
Did that answer
Yeah,
your question? Okay.
it did. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Uh okay, so wait, let me put that back here. So all right, so now this partition, I have no dimensions at all. So what can I do? Well, I've got this column right here, and look at this. This partition is lining up with the corner of this column. Okay, so that is, and similarly, let me zoom out a little bit. While I'm here, this partition is lining up with this corner of the column, and this partition is lining up with this corner of the column. So, okay, this is gonna help me at least get this much of my plan here, this room here. So, and at this point, like okay, so I know that these are all at the correct angle. I can't, again, you can follow, say I'm at that 27-degree angle, but you don't even need to do that at this point if you are going perpendicular to the other line, to the other partitions. So if this line is going perpendicular to this partition here, then I know it's at the right angle. All right, so let me offset 5 inches. And let me do some extending here. And again, I like to use my trim tool and hold shift. And while I'm here, I'll just extend this guy right here and then trim that guy there. Okay, moving right along. I've got this line or this partition is running like this. And then I've got a partition that's coming down. Doesn't actually go all the way, does it? I'm just I'm just gonna draw it like think I'm gonna draw it down. There we go. I know that this is not going to go all the way to this column here. It's going to cut off someplace here, but I'll worry about that later. Um, you know what? Let's put in a door or two here. So I'm gonna just very quickly here pop in a door frame, 2-inch door frame, a 3-foot door, 2-inch door frame. And then there is a little side light over here. So want to and let me just trim out this. And Control 3 brings up my palette here, and I want an imperial door. I'm going to bring into my drawing here. And let me just set it up here. 3-foot door. Our doors are always 3 feet, particularly when we're dealing with commercial projects. And then let's move it to here. And now I got to rotate it. So I got to rotate this some angle. What angle do I need to rotate it? Well, there. If I all I'm doing here is I'm starting my rotation right here, and then if I come around, if I snap to this line here, look at it's rotating it right into place. So it's like right in line with the wall. So that is perfect. And then let's just change this width to 5 inches and put it on a door layer. And actually, I've got a side light here, and I want to put that on a glazing layer here. So what I'm gonna do here is I think I'll just take. Okay, so all right, so I got to break this. So this is wall right here, this little piece here, and then this is going to be all on my glazing layer here. So right now this is one line. You know what? I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna trim, and then I'm gonna extend. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking this line into two pieces here. And the reason is I want this all to be on a glazing layer because it's a window. So this is a little triangular piece of wall that the contractor is going to have a fun challenge to build, but that's okay. And then this is glazing for our side light, and then we've got a door over here. So now, as you might have guessed, or maybe not, I am probably going to have a problem when I go to paper space. So let's go over to our partition plan. Looks beautiful, right? But our building shell has glass here and a door. So if I go into white model space here and I freeze the door, it's gone. It's off of my building shell. But look, my front door to my space is also frozen. So yeah, what we're going to have to do is, let me undo that. What we're going to have to do is create a couple new layers, a new layer for our door and a new layer for our glazing. So let me go over to my layer properties, and I'm just going to do two new layers right now. First one, a door dash new. All of our new doors are going to go there. And the same for our glazing. A dash glaze, GLAZ dash new. So all of the existing partitions and doors and glazing for the base building or the building shell, they'll all go on a door, a wall, and a glazing. And then all of our new construction that we're designing or that we're putting in is going to go on a wall new, a door new, and a glazing new. Okay, so I need to do some colors here. The door is normally 31. I'm going to make this one, my new doors, color 11. And my door is set to, the line weight is set to 0.35. So my new door also needs to be the same. We need to match our new and our existing line weights. And our glazing, I will make some. I'm gonna use 41. It's sort of a orangish, yellowish color, but that's the color I'm gonna use. And our glazing is 0.30 millimeters. That's the line weight. So our A glaze new needs to be, what did I say? 0.3. I think I said 0.3. Yes. So we are being diligent in separating new partitions, new glazing, and new doors from the existing or from the building shell glazing and doors and walls. All right. So having done that, having created three new layers, let me take this guy and put him on a door new right there. And similarly, let me take the side light here and put that on a glazing new. So, as you're going, uh, uh, I just want to show you that you don't always have to like keep drawing from scratch every door. I already have this door, so you could, I'm going to copy this door and frame. And if I go as my base point, the inside corner of the room here, I can copy it over here and then trim this out and I'm good. The only thing that's wrong here is that this should go on the wall layer. So I'm going to use match properties here. Put that on my A partition new. So when I'm doing this kind of stuff, what I'll do is I'll do all my partitions and then I'll grab one of the doors and then just go boink, 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 pop them in wherever I can. I just kind of do it all at the end. But whatever works for you all. Okay, let's move on. I'm not going to do the entire plan tonight, but I will do some of the more trickier, interesting, challenging things here. Okay, so and speaking of interesting, let's look at this here. All right, so I've got this wall here that is going to be glazed here. We've got a big window here, and but right now I have it drawn as a wall here. And then I have this angled wall that is presumably coming in at that 27 degrees or one of those angles. And then I have a straight wall that's coming straight out 11 feet, and it's coming up. It starts 1'8" from the corner of this column right here. So I'll O track up 1'8". I'll draw a line 11 feet, and then I'll draw another line at that 27 degrees or whatever that angle is, one of those four angles. And then offset and then fillet this and it should work magically. So, I'm gonna O track up 1'8", go over exactly 11 feet. So there's that corner there. And now there is the 27 degrees. I'm just gonna kind of go this much. I'm not quite touching it. So then I'll fill it and I'll get it exact. Offset 5 inches. Partitions are 5 inches. And then I can fillet this guy and this line there. And this is crossing over, so I can just fill it or trim that there. So that's nice and neat. And boom, look at that. We got it. So the line ends more or less here. And then I'm going to have a window frame. I'm going to have a door and then a window over here. I'm not going to draw. You know what? I'll do this much. So I need to break this. So this part, this little piece right here, this is part of my wall here, right? And this is the edge of the wall. And then if I offset 2 inches here, that's my window frame. So I have to break this line into two parts. So this part is on the glazing layer, and this part is on the walls layer or the partition layer. So what I did last time was I trimmed this and then extended this. I'm holding shift to extend that. And now this line is ending right here. And then all of this can go on the glazing layer. Where is it? A glaze new. And I'm not, you don't, I'm sure you don't want to see me put in the door and the glass there, but this tricky part there, I did that much. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. So I've got, oop, so I got literally the same thing going on over here. This will O-track down 8 foot 10 and then come over 11 feet. And then I'll go up on that angle there. And then this looks like this is going from this corner here down on this angle, and then wherever these connect, we'll fill it and make that work. So let's try this one. This is similar to this here. So let's see. Am I drawing this correctly here? I just have a weird feeling that I'm not. 'Cause, I put a doctor video up. I'm still reeling. Okay, so that comes out there. Okay, yeah, okay. So 11 feet. So I can start down here, 8 foot 10, and then I'm going over 11 feet. I'm just getting these dimensions right from the handout. I'm going up at that 27-degree angle, something like that. And now I need to do this wall here. So I'm going to start right at that corner, come down. I want to be at that 297 degrees here, and then offset 5 inches. Which way? Up or down? It looks like it goes this way. And offset this 5 inches. And then just do some filleting here. That wasn't so bad. I'll fillet this line too. Yeah. So same with this guy here. So we're going to have this wall here. So this will all be on the A wall layer here. And then all of my glazing will be on the A glaze layer over here. And you could have this, we'll have this same little piece of wall here. Well, actually, all of this frame here can all be on the A wall layer, that or the A wall new layer. That will that will be fine. So I'll just draw this side here. This comes up, offset 2 inches for the frame. And then you can trim here and then extend. And that makes this line is separate than this line. So this is the end of the wall. That's on the A wall there. And the rest of this is on my glazing layer. So, oops. So maybe I did it too quickly. So you can do the same thing. You can trim and extend, or well, actually, wait a minute. You don't even have to do that because this is going to be a 3 foot door here. Oops, I offset in the wrong direction. And then I'm just going to trim this out. And now I can put all of this. Oops, sorry. I can put all of this on my A wall layer. Door, glass, you're golden. Yeah, just have too many things on my other. All right. So we got that. We have this here, same kind of deal. I want to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move to this corner here. And I'm going to do this because this might be a little bit tricky here. So, all right, this is a, I think this is a workroom and this is a storage room or file storage room. Um, I've got a partition here that's running from the corner of this column to the corner of this column. That's easy. And then I have a partition here that I'm going to O track up 10 feet and then go over 11 foot one. And then I'm going to go up at that angle here. And then I somehow need to go 3 foot two over here. So this is going to be a little, this is probably the most challenging part of the whole project. But but we can do it. So let me go down to the corner here and I'm gonna O track up 10 feet. And then I'm going over 11 foot 1 inch. And now I'm going up, I'm looking for that 27 degrees and it comes up, I don't know, some distance. I'm just going to draw that line. Not sure how long that's going to be. And while I'm at it, so I don't get confused, I'm going to offset 5 inches for the thickness of the walls. And let me just fill it. That's just clean. I'm just cleaning up that corner as I'm going along. And if you remember, we had a partition that came down here, right from the corner of this column to the corner of that column. All right, so now I've got a wall that is coming out 3 foot 2 inches from the face of this wall. It's coming out 3 foot two and intersecting with this angled wall. But where do I draw the 3 foot two? Where's 3 foot two? Well, so what we can do is draw a guideline that is 3 foot two away from the face of this wall, and then wherever that guideline hits this wall, that will be 3 foot two. So let's do it. It's clever, whoever did this, but I'm going to offset 3 foot two. I'm going to offset the face of this wall. And there it is, that right there, that intersection where this line and this line intersect. I know that this is 3 foot, right? This is 3 foot two along here. So where this wall and the face of that wall intersects with that guideline, that is 3 foot two. So I'm going to just go right here, straight across. I'm going to offset 5 inches. I don't need that guideline anymore. I'll just erase it. And then I will fillet my corners or trim, whichever makes you happy. And there is this very, very tricky, this tricky, tricky situation right here. Um, let's see. So this is coming down 1'10" and then comes over 10'9" and then comes, but does that come over 10'9"? And then it theoretically aligns with this. So okay, so I'm going to do this right here. So where do I start? I guess I'll start here. 1'10". No, okay, I think I'm going to start because I don't know. Maybe this actually comes out to 10'9". Um, it's hard for me to believe, but okay, so let's try. Um, so I am all the way up here. I'm going to come down 1'10". I hope I'm not confusing you all. And then I'm coming over 10'9". And then I'm coming down and oh my gosh, look at that. It's coming right to that corner. That did work. I'm shocked. I'm offsetting to get the thickness of my walls. I'm going to fillet this or trim it. And then I'm going to extend this. And I like to use trim and then hold my shift to extend. Okay. There's one more wall in here, and I'm going to let you muddle through this one. 2'11", 11'2", and then comes up. You should be able to get it. Just be careful about your layers and what stuff is going on what layer. So the partition is here, and then this is all glazing, right? The door frame can be on the partition layer. That's fine. And this little triangle, that is on the partition layer as well, just like the triangle that we did up here. And then this is on the glazing layer. Okay, I've got a closet over here. The dimensions of this closet is, well, it's 3'1" deep. So this is a deep closet. Normally closets are 2 feet deep, but this is 3'1". So you can draw a line or I'll partition straight across. Don't worry about the doors, just draw the partition straight across. And then you can offset 3'1" to get this partition, or you can O-track down 3'1" to get this partition. And then you want to draw this door. Maybe it'd be better to do it this way. Draw this wall, then draw this door. So offset 2 inches, then offset 3 feet, and then 2 inches for this frame. So then you got this door, and then this partition here starts 2 feet 4 inches from here. So from here, like from this inside corner, O-track over 2 feet 4, and then you can come down 3'1". Sorry, I clicked when I shouldn't have. So O-track over 2 feet 4, and then come down 3'1", and then go across. That's how you should get this line here, this wall here. So draw this wall, draw the door, O-track over 2'4", draw a line 3'1", and then go straight across. Now this 12 feet, this is not the width of the closet. This is the width of this door opening. So these are 4 3-foot doors. 3, 6, 9, 12. So these are three, 4 3-foot doors. And when I'm drawing closet doors, I normally will make them 1.5 inches thick. So you can just use the rectangle tool or however you want to do it. But each one of these doors should be 3 feet long by 1.5 inches thick. And they should go on the proper layer. They should go on the doors layer. So what else? This is glazing. This is part of our base building. I've got a bunch of partitions over here, and so we drew this one already. This is the CEO's office, and then this is I think this is another executive conference room here. There's some glazing that's going on over here, and then we've got a partition that aligns with this this window here, straight across. We already drew this wall. So I've got this partition here. This partition aligns right with the center of this pier here. So same thing that I did before. I'll just draw a little guideline, offset 2.5 inches up, 2.5 inches down to get the partition thickness, and then extend this straight to there. And then we have another partition over here and some wonkiness down here. Let's draw this. Let's at least draw this over here. So there's that long partition that I drew at the beginning of class today that just started right at this corner. It just comes all the way down. And now let me put this over on my other screen so I can follow it. And I have a this is the entrance to this is a break room here. Great big break room with millwork and tables and all kinds of stuff here. So I am gonna draw at that 27 degrees. I'm gonna draw a little wall here. And I can fillet this here just so I have a good idea here. And then I'll just extend this. All right, but it comes out further. It comes to here. So I have another partition that is going to be right here. So you could, if you've drawn like this partition or this partition already, you can copy it just like we did for these, but let me just draw it. I'm going to come out with the center line. That center line is going right from the midpoint of this pier here. And then I'm going to offset half of 5 inches up and down. I no longer need the center line, so I'll just erase that. That was just for me. And then I'll just fillet this wall with this wall. And trim this out. So there is our break room. All right, let's see. So we've got our break room done here. And then this is going to be a great big training room over here. And I've got a partition here that's running right at the midpoint of this pier here. Hey, wait a minute. I've got a partition that's running at the midpoint of this pier here. So why not just copy this partition to here? I mean, or draw the center line, offset up, offset down, extend, and that would work fine. And so uh, so it is one pier, 2 piers over. It's on my other screen here. So I'll just copy this. and choose copy. Choose one of the corners. This one, choose the midpoint, whichever one you makes you happy. I'm just going to choose this one. And then one pier, two piers over. Get right to the intersection there. And there is that partition. So I've got behind the training room here, this is like a video room or a prep room, I guess, for the training room. And there's a little glass window here. And this partition aligns with this window here. So you can either just draw that partition, easy peasy, or you could take this partition and copy it to here because it's the same exact situation, right? This is right at the corner of the window. This is right at the corner of the window. So you could take this partition, copy it over to here. Or if it's easier, just draw it. I think I'm going to just draw it. I want to make sure that I'm perpendicular to this wall here, that I'm on the right angle. One of those four wonky angles. And then I'm just going to trim this out so that all of my walls are nice and clean and open. And here, this is actually sticking out, and that is a little clumsy, but that's the way it looks like that's the way the designer has this. But what we're going to do is we're going to box this out here so that this is these walls are parallel or perpendicular to the room here, and we don't have these funny angles and this weird little thing that's going on here. So there are no dimensions here to show how this is boxed out. So how am I going to do it? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the corners of this column as my guide. So here I'll show you. I'm going to just draw just little pieces of wall here. I'm just going to go, I'm following the 27 degrees and draw that one. And then I'll draw this one. This one's at the 297. And I'll just draw this one perpendicular to this wall here. So now I can fillet these. And I can extend this one so that I have like a tight, this will be the inside of the wall, and then I'll offset 5 inches. And then I have that furred out or that blocked out. So what will happen here, I think, is what I gotta I gotta look at the next week's thing, but I think there's a big piece of millwork counter here for, you know, a banquet spread if you need it, and I think there's doors over here. So I think that pretty much does it. I worked through most of the walls. I just left this little area here and here. Oh, and this little closet over here. So you'll do the same thing over here. So start at this corner and just come out with a line and then go over 11'6" and then 3'6" down, or just to get this in place here. What what I would assume is that this is probably 5 inches here. So that should work out. But I'm going to leave that for you to do to muddle through. I don't want to give you some of the fun. All right. So your goal for next week is this is a very old title block but we're gonna put it on the new title block, and in fact, we already have it on the new title block here. But your job is to flush this out. So I updated my computer to Windows 11 here, and I'm used to like all of my things being on the left side, and now they're not. And when I'm in this, they disappear, and I'm just like disoriented as I'm working tonight. So I want you to get in some dimensions as well for this. So let me do a couple dimensions here, and I'll just go into white model space here because I want to do all of my dimensioning in white model space. And I'll just do one or two here. And as I am working on these angles here, I can't use a linear dimension. A linear dimension from here to here is going to come out like this or like this. And that's not what I want. I want to follow the angles. So what I need to do is I need to use an align dimension. So if I do a line dimension from here to here, I get my dimension coming out like this. Now, make sure I'm on the wrong layer here, by the way, but make sure that your dimensions are not like this. You don't want your dimensions to be too close to whatever it is, the wall that you're dimensioning, or whatever the object is that you're dimensioning. You want to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. The reason is that it makes it easy for whoever is reading your drawings to read your drawings. So our goal is to always to make it as easy as possible for whoever's reading our drawings to be able to understand them clearly. Now, as you might guess, if I put this on my A Anno Dims layer, it's going to disappear. Why is it disappearing? Because I took all of those dimensions, remember the column dimensions and the exterior of the wall dimensions, that was on the A Anno Dims layer. And if I go over to my building shell sheet, look, I've got a 16:1 dimension and it's going to nowhere, right? So what I have to do, of course, is I need to create a new layer for these interior partition dimensions. So I'm going to go to layer and I'll create a new layer and I'm going to call it A Anno Dims, their dimensions, dash new, just like we did for the other ones. And I'm going to give it a color and I'm just going to just choose, I'm, I'm picking 221, this pinkish color. So now if I put this on A Anno Dims new, let's see what we've got. So if I go to building shell, I'm seeing the A Anno Dims new, and I don't want to see the A Anno Dims new. So I'm in white model space. Let me use my freeze button here, and I'm going to freeze those dimensions, those interior partition dimensions. And while I'm here, I'm going to freeze this door. That's the A door new layer. And this A glazing new layer as well. I'm going to freeze that because we don't want to see that on our building shell. On our building shell, all we want to see is the shell, the the exterior walls, the interior demising partitions, this glass, our columns, and the dimensions that are pertinent to the building shell. Then on our partition plan, we don't want to see these dimensions. And indeed, I'm not seeing them. I'm seeing my interior partitions. I'm seeing my interior glazing. I'm seeing my interior partition dimensions. And I think that's I think that's it. What I need to do here is change this. Let me go back into paper space and change this to my partition plan. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but on this block, this drawing block here, when I click on it, there is a grip over here, and it's okay if this line extends farther or beyond the title, but what you never want is that a situation like that where the underline here is the title extends beyond the underline. That just looks wonky, and you just never want to do it. Either line it up with the text, or you can extend it out further. And either one is looks professional, and in the industry we do it both ways. But just do make sure that it doesn't stop shorter than the text. It just looks, it just doesn't look good.